Hey, welcome back to the quarterback. What do we call it? Backyard
Yeah,
quarterback to the
quarterbacks.
fourth episode with Ryan Hartle of Florida State. We got Tyler Russ in the orange and blue, and Adam Clifton with the Jaguar hat.
I
Just
prefer no last names, please.
oh, I'm sorry
I'm,
about
I'm
that.
kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
But yeah, we're going to talk a little stuff about the Florida State and Florida and Jaguars. But we're going to probably start off with have y'all ever been caught doing anything shady in a bar before while being married?
No.
I can honestly answer no. No, I have not.
Well, I
And
think
there's nothing to find either. So
I think our head, do we even know how much he makes? It's between 10 to 12 million a year. I couldn't find anything factual. Just he
It's
was
a lot.
asking for 12 million. So did he get it? I don't know.
It's enough to make you want to risk a heart attack.
Right.
Well, I gotta admit he's getting faster. Typically there's a couple of years before he gets to some kind of scandal behind him.
And usually some success.
Right, exactly. Yeah. It's usually like a situation where you're like, man, this doesn't look like it's ever gonna end. And then the scandal pops. So this one never even got off the ground. And then he has something out there for us. So
we did
for those that aren't aware, which you got to be on Mars.
Right. Probably not listen to this podcast if you don't know what's going on.
The Jaguars played on Thursday. The game was in Cincinnati, right? The team flies back. He stays, and I think he stays. His excuse or whatever he said is, yeah, I got family and friends I want to hang out with. And then this video comes out. It looked like a bar. I heard it was a restaurant. Maybe it was like a sports restaurant / bar.
He owns it.
Do what?
They went to dinner at his restaurant.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And then he mentioned something about, it's not exactly clear on the clear story, but they pulled him next door. They wanted to take pictures next door was what he explained it as.
Well, they got more than they bargained for because they get a video. He's sitting in this chair and there's a young blonde who is standing in his area, grinding, looking like, I don't know. So if you haven't seen the video, watch it. I'm sure you have. It speaks for itself. Tyler, you're the Gator guy. He's all of our coach now with being the Jaguars, but he was arguably, savior of the program, 2 national championships. What are your thoughts on the video?
I mean, from a married perspective, I mean, what are you thinking, man? Like, what are you doing? And it doesn't make it any better that they found the post of his wife. She's at home with the grandkids, like bathing the grandkids, and even has like the sweet comment, like, "Oh, he deserves it. He deserves to be out.
Day off.
Yeah. And then for that to come out, and you're just like, oh man, that looks terrible.
That poor woman.
Yeah, but as far as I guess what I wasn't aware of is how apparently rare it is that a coach would even stay behind anyway. Apparently that itself is a big deal. Players try to do it and often get told no, or almost always get told no. It's rare that they even get to do it. So to me, when I first saw that, I was like, oh, man, it does not look good. But it's not football related, so it really shouldn't be anything too big of a deal. But to find out later, I guess that's actually a really big deal that he stayed back with the team.
Right.
And didn't go back with them. That's where it really becomes an issue. And then, losing trust apparently with the players or straining that relationship. Because to me, the big benefit that Urban brought was his ability to relate to the players and build good relationships and be able to motivate these guys a little bit better. So that's going to be pretty hard to be a good motivator when a lot of them are looking at you like, different rules for you than it is for us.
Yeah, no, I agree. I was listening to a local show like the weekend after it happened, and they mentioned the same thing that, when you just say, hey, yeah, he hung back, he's from the area, wanted to see some family, that makes sense. But then everything I've heard said that that's extremely rare. It doesn't happen. Like maybe if there was a death in the family, he could have spun it. But then the video comes out. The video is just awful for him on with everything, professional wise, football, marriage. You know, he
because he looked hammered too. Like that's not a good look for your head coach.
Right. Yeah. And you have to have no self-awareness in that moment, just realizing, dude, you're a celebrity, whether you want to be or not. You can say you're a football coach, but you're a celebrity, especially in Ohio. Okay. So the video looked bad. And when I first read I read it on Twitter, I'm like, maybe some girl like got a picture, rubbed up against him, and he pulled the, hey, I'm married. This dude is full on sitting, legs open. She is in his crotch area. And then I don't know if y'all saw this.
I don't know if I was about to drop it.
There's another angle, bro.
He's getting all up in it.
His like,
yeah,
you know, and it allegedly was from the girl's Snapchat, because the video that I saw,
a picture of another phone. There's a video in another phone on top.
Yeah. And we're a family show, but this might be a little too graphic for some people. The caption on the Snapchat said, Urban Meyer just tried to put his finger up my butt.
It said somebody really got a video of Urban Meyer trying to stick his finger.
Yes, that's more accurate.
Yeah.
So if it was just, you know, she rubbed up against him, that's one thing. It looked like he was very participant in it, and also, you know, that's the bad look, bro. Like, I don't know how many beers he had. We'll never probably know. It's just bad looks all around. And then distraction from the team. And then we've talked about it on the podcast as, you know, I think episode 1, we may have been like, you know, will he be able to relate to pro guys? It's not college kids anymore. They're millionaires. They're, you know, the best athletes in the world. So you try to set an example. I know he's portrayed himself in the past, regardless of other issues, whether it be with murderers on his teams or, you know, a fake heart attack. And the next year you're going to, you know, be a broadcaster, which I get it. It's way less stressful, but still, and you're supposed to be a mentor even to these young guys. It's a bad look. If a player would have done that and gotten caught, he would have had to have made a press conference about it. He would have maybe, you know, suspension. I don't know. But the main thing I heard was it's a distraction. If you're undefeated, or if you're you know, 3-1, maybe the fans don't care as much. But like you said, Tyler, this drama usually comes a couple years after and a lot of success. So that's my thoughts on it. It's a bad look. Harder, what do you think? You're married, you got kids.
I was kind of defending him the first videos that I saw, and even, you know, I think I mentioned, my wife's like, well, it's kind of funny how a girl can like just come up to a random guy and kind of grind on him, and it's not a big deal. But if a guy was to approach a girl and did anything remotely like that, then it's like, oh my God. And then as the day started going, it was right after I saw the like, oh wow, that's a really bad look video. Then it's like, he's gone. It's over. I didn't know it was going to end this fast. And
right.
I couldn't believe that he rebounded somehow. But I this day of age, 2021, you really can't do too much. I mean, even us three, we say the wrong thing and we're fired, or I would be, you know, like.
I think that goes the same for everyone.
Yeah.
And obviously I'm a single guy. Y'all are married. I know y'all aren't those type of people. Y'all don't condone that. Again, we don't know the context. She could have been there for 30 seconds. She could have been there for 2 hours, and someone just got a little blip of the video. So there's a lot we don't know. I am interested in this. So the days after it came out, he had to make, you know, a couple of press conferences. He apologized. He said he met with the players. He met with the team as a whole, the position players, all this, you know, apologized for being a distraction, basically everything, apologized to his wife. And then one of the things that was kept being regurgitated on television and Twitter, how are these players going to respect this guy, this, that, and the other? And I will say, I don't know if y'all saw this. I don't know if I shared it in the group. It was days after. And now the team may have done this after every practice. They may not have. And I don't know if it was just like a specific team. I don't know if it was just the defense only, position players, linemen. They huddle up in Jacksonville in their uniforms after practice. They go 1, 2, 3, grind. Bro, when I saw that video, I lost my shit. I'm like, dude, there's no way that they're not like kind of having fun with it and being like, you got caught, didn't you? Yeah.
So the one thing I saw in terms of like how the players were going to take it, like my initial thoughts were like, I mean, how many of these guys
are even married,
especially big time, if you've ever been around, like if they've ever been around like the other big time players, the big name players, they probably see, that type of stuff going all the time. And so my thought was like, they're probably just going to,
all right, props, coach, props.
All right, I see you. I see you.
Yeah, they see,
I see you with that young blood.
Urban Meyer's all great, so he's got to be up there.
That girl's my age, coach.
Yeah, but so finding out though that it was, just a big deal that he even stayed back at all. I guess that's kind of where I was like, oh, I mean, you lose the team or team gets upset with you for not being, having the same rules.
Yeah,
I kind of feel like that's where it becomes a bigger deal.
What's the saying? Like when you're younger, nothing good happens after midnight.
Yeah. I mean,
how old is Meyer? Meyer's got to be in his 60s, upper 50s.
Yeah.
Nothing. Hey, when you're that old, nothing good happens after the sun goes down, bro. Just take your ass home.
Afternoon.
Watch your grandkids with your wife. Have some Coors Light, whatever you want to do. Shout out Coors Light if you want to sponsor us, hit us up. Whatever you want to do, bro. Like it's just a bad look all around.
Yeah.
And here's the thing too. If something like that did not happen and we go over, right, which is looking like we're going to do, which we'll get into, I don't think he gets fired. He's not expected. This pro is different. He's not expected to come in here, win right away. I think 8-8 would have been a miracle season. Now it looks like that's definitely not going to happen. But now with this at the end, right now, Shad Khan, like, we have to scramble for a coach. We paid him a lot of money. So now if he has an awful season, it might just be something where they amicably are like, we're parting ways or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. It definitely makes it. Yeah. It definitely puts pressure on him that wouldn't have been there. No matter what he did this season, he probably wouldn't have had the pressure.
Yeah. I mean, you brought this on yourself.
I guess we looked absolutely terrible and weren't even competitive, all season.
Yeah.
Long. Might be something, but
right.
I already feel like we're getting there. We got to figure out. I don't know. I feel like as a program, we just got to figure out how to win.
Right.
I mean, I feel like it's one more just like small thing. He's gone.
Yeah.
I feel like he's even closer out the door. Even his apology, his body language. Maybe that's just him. I never studied Urban Meyer, but just, I mean, when I saw him, I'm just like, he don't even want to be here. Like, he was just kind of like.
I took it more as like he was
embarrassed,
super embarrassed. Yeah, because he couldn't even look up.
Yeah,
I mean, the entire time he kind of did this. Like he might have looked up for a second, but he was talking. He couldn't even look at the media. He couldn't look at the camera now, which to me a little bit was kind of like. I don't know. To me, that says he's just not being truthful. Like he can't even be honest about his.
Oh, it up. Oh, I mean, just
And then and then he didn't own it because he said it was stupid. They were trying to pull me. He tried to make it sound like it was nothing. Like nothing really was going on.
Yeah,
it just kind of looked bad. But then that second video came out, which is when that second video came out. To me, it was like they were definitely holding that video to see how he responded, and him probably try to say. Oh, that was them, she was trying to dance on me or whatever.
Right. But
and like, when he does, then I'm going to pop this video out there.
Yeah, you're right. Because in the first video, I mean, he's sitting down, like I said, she could have been there for 30 minutes. She could have walked up. It could have been that blip, but his hand gesture trying to get in there, dig for gold. That's a bad look, bro.
Well, I mean, civil suit's coming, right?
From her?
Yeah.
For what?
I mean, pay her off. I mean,
you're saying like that's probably
they'll have a civil suit. It'll go on for a year, and then they'll come to a settlement. And
right.
Are you just talking about like keep her quiet like, so she doesn't come out and say what really happened that night?
I don't think it's keeping quiet. It's kind of a game now. I mean, Jameis went through it, at Florida State, and it went on until he got in the NFL, and they're having press conferences in parks, and like nobody's even there, and I mean, I don't think we know how much the settlements are, but for some reason I have a number in my head, like she probably got a couple $100,000 out of them or whatever, just to
Make it all go away.
Quiet. Yeah. Stop with these press conference. Stop with all this stuff. Like,
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't condone that behavior, especially when you're married. These two guys can attest to that 100%. I'm single. If I did that, I'd be all right. But I'm still not.
Adam is doing that, right? Like you're supposed to be doing that, right?
No.
All right, I see you, Adam. I see you.
Right. A little bit of PDA. Whatever. I'm not digging for gold in the bar, or this. It wasn't even a bar. It was a restaurant, bro. I'm not, and I'm definitely not doing it. Which this is a likely outcome. I'm definitely not doing it when I'm his age, even if I'm not married. So, yeah. It's just a bad look all around. Either way, obviously. Any more like thoughts on that before we move on?
I say we jump into the Jaguar game.
Okay.
Since we're on topic.
Yeah.
All right. So I got some stuff written down, and Harlow, if you have anything different or you want to add.
Yeah.
Definitely. So So Titans at Jacks. We mentioned the week prior. They were favored slightly. We thought, Derrick Henry's going to run all over our defense. Seems like he has our number, especially in Jacksonville. 37-19 final. Trevor Lawrence, 23 for 33. I believe. What was the yardage on that? Did you write that down, Hartle?
No, I did not.
273, I believe. Yeah, 273 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. The highlight of the game, and also our best player by far, which it's very apparent now, James Robinson, 18 rushes for 149 yards. I did see a couple stats like after the game. I think his average per carry this season is 5.8, somewhere around there. I might be off on the.
It's on the dime.
Yep, second most in the league this year, if I'm not mistaken. So I didn't catch who was first, but that's pretty impressive. Last
5.8. Eckler's at 5.8. Mozart had 10, but he's injured out for the year. Only had about 20 carries.
Right. Yeah.
But Nick Chubb's 5.8. So it's Chubb
Okay.
and Robinson, and then they're on top. I mean, the other ones are quarterbacks. Lamar Jackson.
Right. Yeah. So last year the guy's a rookie. I think he was like
undrafted.
5th or 6th round pick.
Undrafted free agent.
Had a hell of a year for anybody, much less an undrafted free agent. He's looking like this wasn't a mistake. He just flew under the radar. Thank God the Jags got him. So that was the highlight of the game. I think I texted you guys at one point in the game. I said T-Law is like, I think he was like either 9 for 11 or 11 for 13, but he had only 2 incompletions. So
9 for 11.
He got off to an amazing start. Even though we lost, and he ended up, still 23 out of 33, amazing percentage. Not a ton of yards, but that could be offensive calling. DJ Shark is out, so lots of things could contribute to that. But I think it's another week where it looked like he's improving. You can definitely make an argument that since week 1, he's improved every week. But James Robinson, by far the star of that game and the star of our team. What are y'all's thoughts on the game?
Yeah, Robinson, he's been fun to watch the last several weeks. He's usually got some big breakout plays, and really been enjoying watching him. And then Trevor Lawrence, he usually has 1 or 2 throws a game where you're just like, all right, man, it's starting to really click for him. But we just got to be able to finish.
Yep.
Yeah, I just feel like leading up to the season, even drafting the running back in the first round with ETN, like running game is going to be very huge. And for some reason, they just came out slinging it. I don't know. I think it's probably a combination of having a rookie quarterback and a rookie head coach in the NFL. Because as these weeks are going, they're now going to James Robinson, which he is 4th in the league in rushing. Derrick Henry is first, 640 yards.
Did he get there after this week? Or has he been first the whole time?
I don't think he ended up with a crazy game. Like, definitely not
he's already
started to put up some big yards at the end, though.
42 attempts already.
Wow.
Derrick Henry. To put that in perspective, James Robinson has 67. Just even the top 5: Chubb 90, Elliott 85, number 5 Mixon 93, Kamara 94. We're not even running James Robinson to ability.
But Henry's still got about 50 more than the second person.
Yeah, to put 52 more attempts in the second person.
Yeah, so I mean that obviously those numbers are inflated. That's why I think
4.5 average. He sucks. I mean,
right. That's
if
why
Robinson
I think
had that many yards, ever carry.
Yeah, that's why the yards
I
per
don't
carry
know,
is
man.
so
Can
big.
he handle that? I mean, that's part of what makes him so good is that he can handle that load.
Gosh.
He's a beast, man.
How long can he do this?
Oh, I don't think
that's what I was gonna say. Is these guys, they obviously have a shelf life, right?
Right, for sure.
Most of the time it's equated in years, but you can definitely make an argument that it's carries. So, and I will agree that especially this league now, it's a passing league. The run game is not as good. They've kind of built and predicated their whole offense around him. Maybe their thought is, hey, we're going to run him into the ground because they just signed him on that huge contract. We got him for this amount of time. We're going to put him to work. When he's done, we'll find someone else. And the Jaguars kind of are like showing that you can do that. Yeah, we drafted a guy first round, but he had a huge injury. Look what our undrafted guy's doing, you know?
Yeah, no. Just going back to, I felt I kind of got discouraged with Trevor Lawrence. I feel like he was coming short with a lot of passes. And when we needed to, because what was it, 14-20? I can't remember the scores, but it's like when we need him to do something, we're still in the game. I mean, we were scoring touchdowns. Of course, we're missing extra points and field goal. We haven't made a field goal all season, but you're kind of looking at it, and it's just like right when we need him to do something, he looks like a deer in the headlights. I mean, but I actually kind of looked up other things too. This is for the season because we're talking about he's progressing, he's doing better. Right now, completion percentage, he is 59.4. That is 30th in the league. And that's at 175 passing attempts. That's 13th in the league. He's got 1,146 yards. That's 26th in the league. Average completion 6.6. That's 27. Touchdowns 21, interceptions 2. He has 8, and rookie Zach Wilson
He's almost first
9.
in something. He's almost first in something.
But the rookies are all bunched together there at the end, and I think you got to remember he is a rookie. We get excited about Kyler Murray's and Russell Wilson's coming to the league and Lamar Jackson, and just they catch fire and just like, oh my gosh, they're so great. He doesn't have that running ability like those guys. He is more like the Messiah to come in and do all the passing stuff, so with a little bit running on the side. So I think we're just gonna have to tough it out this year. I mean, I look back, Peyton Manning had 26 touchdowns and 28 interceptions his rookie year.
Looks like Zach Wilson's gonna break that.
Jameis already did, I think.
Well, Jameis had like over 30 in both last year, but yeah.
30 for 30. He thought he was playing baseball.
He thought it was an ESPN documentary. He's like, oh, 30. Yeah. Come see the game.
But yeah, I don't see a lot of wins, obviously. But I feel like we need to just, I don't know, stay competitive, keep running the ball.
I mean, at this point, like, here's what's crazy. I don't know if y'all saw this graphic. I didn't share it in the group. We still we can still, like, our division is so awful. We're not out of it. Yeah. That's what, you know what I mean? So they can get hot, but yeah, like you said, Hartle, I don't have any high expectations or, anything like that. And yeah, those numbers, the stats you said, they look bad. I'm just saying, like, from the eye test, it looks like he's progressing every game. Underthrowing balls, I will say that's not the norm. Normally new guys come in, their adrenaline's going, they're super nervous. Yeah. And especially a guy like him who has a huge arm, they're just launching it over receivers, and it doesn't matter who you are. You're not, going to outrun a 70-yard bomb or whatever. Well,
and late in the game though, he was making the play because we made a late push. And so late in the game, he made the plays when we needed it, but I guess, we didn't get it at the very end. Yeah. At least in this last game.
Yeah, right. Tennessee's like 30th ranked in defense. But
All
I
right,
mean,
well, you know,
I
but
think
you know, it's still the NFL, so there's a
they,
lot of guys that couldn't even do it at all against the
I mean, we were
worst
beaten
team in there.
basically. Some people are calling Arizona Cardinals like up there, top 1, 2, or 3 teams, and you know we were defeating them, like playing really well. We got to stop giving them damn touchdowns, defensive touchdowns. Was this like 2 or
Oh, yeah.
3, 2 in a row weeks? You know, Dan Arnold fumbled the first drive and they picked it up and scored a touchdown. I don't know, it was like the first play of the game, second play of the game, third play of the game, but it was the first drive. I mean,
Yep.
we drive down the field and score. I was like, all right, cool. You know, missed the extra point, whatever. We're used to that. But I mean, Urban looked pumped. I mean, I think after the second touchdown, he's out there fist pumping and he was energetic. And you know, we're going for it on 4th downs. And I mean, they're trying. I mean, we still are just, you know, the youngest team in the NFL, and we're just, you know, don't have any really playmakers other than James Robinson. On both sides of the ball. I mean,
yeah, I agree, and obviously we're going to talk about Trevor Lawrence heavily on this because, you know, he like Hartle said, you know, he's supposed to be the messiah of our team. But yeah, the defense does need to get better. But none of us. Now, I don't know about any other Jaguar fans. I don't know if they thought, you know, Super Bowl just because of Trevor Lawrence or what. But that's, you know, out of the question. It was out of the question in my mind from the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, we can't win a game. So that's where I'm at. So you guys want to hop over? I know, Tyler, you mentioned we're only going to speak briefly. We're not going to go too in depth about the Florida game. Let's hop into that and then finish with FSU because we'll probably spend a little bit more time on that.
Yeah.
So you got so here I got. Well, actually, yeah, I don't have anything written down for that because it was Vandy. But you guys won. Anything that you have written down or thoughts about it? Go for it.
Well, you know, I would say that was it 48-0 was the final, and probably the least impressive blowout win shutout that I've watched for the Gators, at least when you're talking about playing within an SEC game or playing an SEC team. But you know, it is, you know, it's Vandy. It's not an exciting game. It was an early game. So you expect guys maybe to kind of have a lull, and looks like maybe hopefully that's just what happened. And maybe a little bit looking forward to LSU, although LSU is now 3-3. So I think it's 3-3, but so that, you know, maybe a little bit looking on to the next week and maybe not as excited and pumped up for this game, but you know, we did what we were supposed to do. We went in there, we won big, and on to the next week.
Yeah.
That's basically my thoughts on it. I mean, it's Vandy. Vandy's terrible.
Took care of business. I know Anthony
TCB,
Richardson, he got in a lot, but he was just handing the ball off. I mean, it was a blowout, so it's not like you're going to have him try to do too much out there. So
let's cover this briefly because it affects your team greatly. Alabama lost.
Yep. Yeah.
So what's that? How's that help y'all, and what's it looking like, and how excited were you guys to see that happen?
I don't know that it helps us since they're in the West, so it's not like it helps us at all in our own division to get to the SEC championship game. And the better Alabama looks, once we lose to them, in a close game, the better they look, the better it looks for us. Especially one thing that I've noticed over the last couple of weeks is Tennessee's looking good against these other teams. So I'm like, and then Kentucky beat LSU pretty handily. LSU tried to make a push to come back, but Kentucky held them off. So
Kentucky's undefeated.
Kentucky's undefeated.
Yeah, I didn't want to like jump the gun. Yeah, Kentucky's undefeated. So you definitely want them to be ranked high as possible. You know.
So Kentucky's
just like Alabama.
Kentucky's actually the game we wanted to lose because we need Kentucky to lose at least twice. I don't know if they'll be losing 3 times, but we need them to at least lose twice, and then Georgia has to lose one other game, which includes us. But I don't see. I mean, Florida, Georgia, that game goes way different than you expect many times. Over the years, it's gone way different than you expect many times.
Oh.
So you can always say, regardless of how either team looks going into that game, that's a chance where, either team has a chance to win that game. But I didn't really see anybody else. Maybe Tennessee, because Tennessee's looking good. But Georgia just looks they just look very stout, like all the way around.
The number one team in the country. That's what they look like.
They are the number one team in the country. Yeah. And I, as far as I can say, they look like they deserve that ranking. So
yeah.
They only scored 14 more on Vandy than y'all did, though, if I'm not mistaken.
Only 14 more.
Only 14 more
touchdowns.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't really watch those games. Once they start to get to a blowout,
yeah,
like, move on to the other game.
Right.
So I can't actually tell you how Georgia really looked against Vandy, if they looked really crisp and good. But they obviously couldn't have looked too bad scoring.
My question would be, can Jacksonville State beat Vandy?
For sure.
I haven't watched any other Jacksonville State games except for when they played Florida State, so I really can't tell you.
Yeah. Don't want to delve into it too much, but there was a video of the Texas A&M kicker, his family, like specifically his mom. Did y'all see this?
No.
Mm-mm.
So I'll share it with y'all after this. So comes down to the field goal, right? They're on TV, they're obviously showing him, but someone was videoing his mom and like his family split screen, like as it happened. Like she's so super nervous, like almost like Mackenzie Milton's mom was in our first game when he got in. And it kicks, it goes, they win. She like explodes with like the whole family. She jumps over and like rushes the field with everybody. It was awesome. It was a great video. But yeah, so that was obviously a hell of a game. Not many people saw that coming, but
yeah.
What's up with
and what I was surprised is that Alabama came back exactly how you expect them to come back. And then Texas A&M, who couldn't really do anything all half, just right down the field and scores and ties it back up. Then Alabama gets the ball, and you think Alabama's going to go down, score. They're going to run the clock out, probably just kick a field goal. And they did nothing. Would they go 3 and out? I believe it was like one of a rare 3 and out for the game for them.
Right.
And nothing happened. And then Texas A&M just comes down and kicks that field goal. So I would say that to me, I wasn't like, after watching that first half, I was like, I think I said it in the text, like, Bama, you got to play them all 4 quarters. Like, you can't just think like, oh, we're beating them, or even beating handily in the first half. Oh, we got this. It's nope. Bama is going to play you tough all 4 quarters, and you gotta keep that intensity all 4 quarters against them. And then it looked like exactly what I thought was going to happen was they're going to come right back and they're going to win in the end. And it looked like that's what was going to happen. And then they didn't pull it off when it mattered at the very end.
I mean, Texas A&M was on a 2-game losing streak before they beat the number 1 team in the country. And then what is it with Jimbo having like no quarterbacks behind the starter? I mean, he did it at Florida State. Francois goes down. We got a guy that came out of high school 2 months prior starting, James Blackman. They're talking about that when their quarterback got injured and had to go in the tent. They're like, well, they knew this going into the season, but the backup quarterback is a walk-on. Like, what? You don't have like a couple scholarship quarterbacks?
I thought they were saying on the broadcast too that he actually was the number 2 quarterback. So I don't know when
it would have made
sense.
It would have made sense, but when I heard like, well, they knew going into the season, like, Jimbo, bro, why do you keep getting yourself in these predicaments?
But yeah, that was awful. Like, I can't believe, luckily he came back in. He played fine. He even he had a big run in that drive when he came back in. So I was surprised at that. I mean, once he went to that 10, I'm like, I mean, that's it. That's game over. Because they're not going to be able to score without, even if they go into overtime and Alabama doesn't do anything here. I was thinking it was over.
The big preseason joke, or I don't know when this happened, but Jimbo is saying that he was going to kick Saban's ass, and Saban, when they asked Saban about it, he was like, "What, in golf?" Like, because it sure the hell ain't going to be on the football field. But it was. I enjoyed Bama going down. I feel like I enjoy them going down anytime. So
Well, I'm
Yeah,
glad
I
the
don't
stat for
hate their
the
fan.
assistant coach.
Yeah.
Not
Go
have to
ahead,
hear that
Tyler.
anymore. Just not have to hear the never lost an assistant coach stat
Yeah.
anymore. Like all those stats. Just
Yeah,
okay,
that's
now
true.
it's
Yeah,
finally over.
we've talked about that like the past couple of weeks, and that was one of the things that every sports website and ESPN puts on is he's never lost, never lost. It's like, well, you lost now. So
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah, love to see them lose, mainly because of Saban. Don't dislike or hate Alabama fans by any means, none that I know specifically. So, you guys want to hop on to Florida State?
Yep, let's do it.
Yeah, man.
Big win for you guys.
All right, what you got, Hartle?
It was a sod game, and with the sod games, it's whenever we're an underdog and we play on the road. If we win, we take a piece of their turf and bury it into our sod cemetery. So this was the first sod cemetery win for Coach Norvell. Doesn't have a lot of wins under his belt, but this is his first sod game win. We're down 10-0. I was kind of expecting North Carolina. I really felt like they circled our name before the season. Like we owed them a payback. They were number 5 in the country last year, and we upsetted them 31-28. And it was a tale of two halves that game. I think we were up 28 to like whatever they had, 7 or 3, not 3, but 7. And then basically, if you played another 2 minutes, we probably lose that game. Going into this game, it was like you're down 10-0. I'm thinking it was probably not, I'm pretty negative about it. And second quarter, we scored 21 straight points. And I was like, wow, this is good. But then you still go in thinking like, okay, well, tale of two halves last year. It's going to be a tale of two halves. I expected North Carolina to come back, and it definitely wasn't. I mean, we jumped out to a 35-17 score, and a running game looked amazing. We got, I mean, it was the first time I ever heard Trayshawn Ward was a walk-on. He's on scholarship now, but dude,
12
that
rushes,
dude is
12
shifty.
rushes, 77 yards.
He looks good. And Florida State's got some running backs. I think you do have to worry about, I think now Jordan Travis is back. I think his running ability, but I think if a team puts 8 in the box and there's like, hey, you're gonna have to beat us throwing, I think we're in trouble. It's kind of like I guess they did in 2017 when Francois went down. We had Cam Akers, who's a great running back, but then when you get 8 in the box, it's hard as crap to run against that. And kind of afraid, and I keep hearing saying like, oh, Florida State switched to zone blocking, so you're hitting people to the right, you're hitting people to the left of you. It's not one-on-one competition. Tight ends are coming in there banging on some people. It's working, and the team's not giving up. They haven't gave up. That's every consistent look each week. Either we win, yay, or we lose. Hey, we had a chance. And I sent y'all the video of the locker room. It was the cornerback Brownlee. He had Travis Hunter, our number 1 recruit, and you kind of got to see the locker room and got to hear.
It's pretty cool.
It just
tighten up.
Yeah, he kept saying tighten up, y'all tighten up, y'all. Yeah, that was
funny. It's like, well, they just won, right? So
yeah, the kids that might mean something different. I don't know. For us it means like yeah.
Like I feel like they tightened up. I feel like they did that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we just won, bro. Harley, you mentioned it. So Jordan Travis, 11 for 13, 145 yards, 3 passing touchdowns, but 14 rushes, 121 yards, 2 touchdowns. So 5 total touchdowns. Heck of a game.
He counted for all of them.
Yeah. 5 for him. Obviously hindsight's 2020, Monday morning quarterback. Man, I wish you would have been starting from day one. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing, like you got to keep in perspective too. I mean, you're only as good as you are at that offensive line and defensive line. And right now we got basically all those guys other than maybe 1 or 2 on, if you combine the starters on the offensive line and the starters on the defensive line, they're all leaving. They're all seniors. We're going to be in that same predicament next year. You know, maybe we'll get a couple grad transfers or just any type of transfers now. Shoot.
Come on, transfer portal. Yeah.
But you're seeing them win, okay? And you get excited. Now you're thinking like, well, damn, Clemson's not that good. Maybe we beat them. We're feeling really good against Miami.
Yeah.
Like, hell, who knows? You talk about Florida, Georgia. Throw out the record books on this one. You never know what can happen. Not saying we're going to beat y'all, but, I mean, we're getting excited.
So, interesting point. Do you feel that that's really been the case for Florida State?
No.
I kind of feel like Florida State's been whoever's expected to win wins.
When we were dominant, like there's no chance in hell you're beating us.
Right, exactly.
And then the past 3-4 years, I guess 3 years, there's no way in hell Florida State was beating you. Right. But then again, it's like that we can play that next game and reality sets back in. We are freaking awful. But keep fighting. I'm enjoying it. It's weird. You're 2-4 and you're just positive. But top 10 class, I think is getting stronger just because something's going on. How do you have momentum? I don't know, but somehow it's exciting right now.
Well, I mean, I think we've seen on a few instances where when you get the right coach and then you start having those big recruiting classes, especially in college, it flips quickly. Because when you're talking about these really good kids coming out of high school, it seems nowadays that high school players or the top high school players are coming in ready to play right away, especially if you're talking about defense.
Or you're coming from IMG Academy where you're actually working out every day and you have a nutritionist and you have, what I'm saying? Exactly. Like your focus is going to excel in the next level. They didn't have that in the 90s when we had that dynasty. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Like you got in when you were a junior. They're coming in ready. Freshmen, red shirt freshmen, whatever.
And so it just makes that kind of flip around. It just pulls a lot quicker. And then, so once you have the talent to really compete, then you just need that coach who can put you guys in position to make plays.
Yeah.
Agree. You guys want to move on to next, what's in the future coming up? So, all right. So FSU won. If I'm not mistaken, that's a streak, right?
Mm-hmm. I was thinking about the Major League quote, right? I think it's Major Leagues where it's one more.
Bull Durham.
Was it Bull Durham? Where you got
now I'm second guessing it, but yeah.
I want to say it was
For the love of the game.
No.
Let's just list all the baseball movies. And it'll be one of them. But it's you got 2 wins, so one more and it'll be a winning streak. So
right, but I think the quote is, and I might be butchering this, but I'm 90% sure it's Bull Durham. And he's like, we've won 2 of the last 10. And he turns around to the assistant coach. He's like, my gosh, how the hell did we win 2? So I think that's it. But that's kind of how me and Harlan.
No, that's a different quote though. You're thinking of a different quote. I'm thinking specific. So I want to say that mine's actually Major Leagues.
Okay, so
30 minutes for the rest of our lives.
Mine is from Bull Durham. But anyhow, so not only are we coming off a 2-game win streak, bless up, we can't lose this week. Florida State, bye. We get to rest. So we get to go another full week as winners, right? Yeah.
We hitting the recruiting trail. We trying to get that number 1 recruiting class. Bama, they sorry. You know what I'm saying? Come on to Florida State. You play right now. Especially if you're offensive, defensive lineman.
Yep. So, Tyler, we kind of touched on it. Florida goes down to LSU. When I last checked it, it opened at UF, Florida Gators -10. You guys are now favored from the website I checked, 10.5. How do you think that game's going to go with Coach Oregon, as Hartle likes to call him, Ed Ogeron? What do you think is going to happen?
Just praying that nobody throws a shoe. And then we could just go down there and have a good game. I mean, it's become I almost feel like LSU has a number as good as anybody that's not named Bama, just because I think if you go back, and I don't actually know the record over the last decade, but even when, like last year, when there's no reason that LSU should have beat us, especially not in the swamp, that we should be losing that team. And I mean, we were way better. If you look at the season, we were way better than LSU that year. And they still managed to, that was an ugly game. Like we had no business winning anyway, even if we didn't throw that shoe. So, I mean, I don't know. They play us really well, even when we shouldn't even be a game.
Right.
I don't feel like they look that good this year. I feel like that's a game that you should say, if you're looking at both teams and how we've played this year, Florida should go in there and handle business. But
They lost to UCLA, they lost to Auburn, and lost to Kentucky.
Yeah, I don't know anything about UCLA. I mean, Kentucky, obviously, they beat us. They're 6-0. They look like a decent team.
Yeah.
I think they're 6-0 after LSU. And then Auburn. I mean, Auburn didn't really look like they belonged on the field with Georgia. So,
yeah.
Granted, a lot of teams have. All right. So, Jaguars, we got Miami versus Jacks in Tottenham, London. For anyone watching, set your reminders. That's a 9:30 a.m. Eastern game. Miami favored by -3.5. Neutral field, so no home field advantage. From what I've seen in the past, I'm sure you guys as well, just because the Jags did it early on. Lots of Jaguar fans. Maybe we have a small crowd advantage. Miami 1-4. We're 0-5. Both horrible records. I don't see a win, but it wouldn't surprise me if we do. I mean, that's a super close spread for neutral field. Again, just hoping to see some progress out of Trevor Lawrence, hoping to see some throws that he can make that he didn't make previously. Like Cardle mentioned, instead of underthrowing those guys, making some good throws. Interesting to see what James Robinson does. I don't know much about Miami defense, but after having that crazy game, I would love to see him get a minimum 20 carries.
Yeah.
What is did we win the last 2 times in London?
I remember we had that one. We had Mercedes Lewis scored 3 touchdowns. So I mean, what am I talking about? 2016, 17, probably.
Yeah, that had to have been like
he's still playing. I was seeing the Green Bay game and he got a first down. I was like, wow.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
No.
Definitely didn't realize that.
Yeah, maybe we get a little London magic. You're saying here, Tyler?
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm thinking. I'm calling.
You sound like you're from London.
I'll call it.
Yeah, I think that
great pull.
Miami's got I don't know, injuries has played a part, but they actually have a very, very good surrounding team. They're missing a quarterback. And there's been rumors where they could get like Deshaun Watson. You put Deshaun Watson on this team, they're a Super Bowl contender. They're a top 5 team.
We also do not condone that behavior, for the record.
But that's not what's going down right now. So, yeah, I don't know. I think as a sports fan, if I'm just looking at this game, I'd see Miami bouncing back. They need a win. But this can be a winnable game for the Jaguars. Trevor, Urban, let's get it together. Quit being rookies. Let's go.
Yeah, definitely couldn't ask for a much better matchup than another team that has with a 1-4 record, right? So I'm as optimistic as I can be without being too optimistic.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts, Tyler?
I'm going all in.
Oh, we're doing it?
I'm super optimistic.
Okay.
We're going to win.
So what do you tailgate for a 9:30 game? We done Bloody Marys, some, pigs in a blanket. What's going on?
Mimosas.
Straight bourbon.
Whoa.
Bourbon and eggs, man. What are you talking about?
Yeah, right. Maybe we record a show right after the game.
Yeah,
after a brunch.
Yeah. What did then they got maple Crown Royal now, or just all these crazy flavors?
Yeah, we got to do something London themed. I hear like in London, England, breakfast for them is cigarette and a coffee.
There you go.
Yeah, might pass on that one.
I agree. All right, Hardle, you
not your thing.
Hardle, you want to sign us off?
Yeah, man. If y'all have stayed with us this whole time, thank you so much. Obviously, Mom, thanks for watching, because
right.
probably don't have that many fans. But hit that like button, subscribe. If you don't know how to do it, you can Google, ask how do you subscribe, and all that kind of stuff. So let's do this.
Or you just hit where it says subscribe.
Yeah. A little bell
written out.
Pretty self-explanatory.
A comment is cool. That's fun to read.
Hit the bell so you can get all of our videos.
Subscribe, comment, like, all of the above. All right. Love you guys.
Yeah, man. Love you.
Too.
Peace. How you stop this?